Hi Parker.
Hey Nadine, how are you?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Oh, not too bad, not too bad. Just enjoying the weather here in LA.
Oh, so jealous. It's so cold, it's raining. In fact, it's more like autumn going into winter than it is spring going into summer.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I wish I was in LA. So jealous.
You're always welcome to come visit.
Yeah, I've got a ticket actually. I think I might just do that sooner rather than later.
Yes, yes, yes. So Nadine, tell us, everyone watching this today, tell us about yourself, your career, and what the Creative Well is.
Yeah, I founded the Creative Well, which is an organisation that supports everybody working within the music industry, from the artist to the tour crew, and everyone in between, educators, PR, makeup artists that work on videos and um, work with the artists themselves, and yeah, literally everyone within the music industry. And it was kind of born out of my love of music, really. But my background is mental health nursing. I've been a mental health nurse for 26 years, and I specialise in substance misuse. I'm also a naturopath and a nutritional therapist as well.
I
And
love it.
yeah, so I'm very much into looking after the whole person and, well-being, from physical health to mental health. And as I said, the Creative Well was born out of my love of music and supporting people who give, you know, us so much. People like yourself who kind of like, give us the music. And I just wanted to kind of give back to like I say, to the people that gave me so much. Um, and we're based here in the UK in the Surrey Hills and also over there in the Hollywood Hills. So we've got two bases, and we have
Nice.
clients all over the world though. So in New Zealand, Australia, France, and but most of my clients are US based, probably even more so than I have UK clients. So actually working like this via Zoom has been really helpful during the pandemic.
Yeah, it's crazy how so many good things came out of something that was so bad. So
Mm.
it's looking at it with the positive light for sure. But so I'm so glad that I mean you and I have been talking for about a month, 2 months now.
Yeah.
My publicist team put me in touch with the Creative Well, and it's been nothing but great things so far. So I'm super excited to be an ambassador for you guys,
Thank
and
you. We're super
because
excited to have
mental health, yeah, thank you. Mental health's always been something that's been very important to me.
you.
So, and of course, so is music. So,
Yeah, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us a little bit about your career and what brought you to music.
yeah. So I mean, music has been something that has been everything to me actually since I was a very little kid. And I was always in three classes a night and used to be a dancer and violin, piano, but singing always really stuck out to me and really saved my life. But I did follow my parents' wishes. I went to school for business and was just miserable working back in my hometown in Pittsburgh because I knew that that wasn't for me. So I moved to LA, got a one-way ticket, and I never looked back.
Yeah, I love
I
that.
just finished recording my debut EP. It's called No Regular Love. It's coming out this August. And I am so excited to share it with you guys. And, the really cool thing about songwriting is that you get to tell your story. And that's something that you and I talked about previously, because one thing that as a songwriter, yes, I'm telling my story and I love doing that. And the story resonates with people that are listening to it. And that can help those people heal. But I think something where, like, an organization like the Creative Well can come in to help so much is that I'm telling my story, but I'm still, if it's a sadder song, for example, I'm still feeling that pain. I've never been able to move past it. All I do is just tell my story.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I think organizations like the Creative Well, making sure artists and everyone in the industry have a safe space, that's amazing. And I think that that's such a necessity.
I think it's really important, isn't it, to have a safe space where free expression is encouraged without judgment. So,
Right.
just having that person that you can come and you can confide in, and there are no taboos. You can talk about absolutely everything. You know that it's safe, no one's judging you, and you know that it's not going anywhere else. It just stays there in that room or in this call. um,
Yeah, yes.
and it is, I think it is. I think we all need that. And I think we've all, this year, this last 18 months, we've needed that more than ever, haven't we? And I think
Definitely.
prior to the pandemic, there was already a mental health crisis going on within the music industry. And I think in the event of the pandemic, we saw so many people lose their jobs literally overnight.
Yeah.
And it has become another crisis. And it almost feels because we've been locked down for so long now, we're seeing another mental health crisis emergence,
Mhm.
slightly different to what it was before we went in. We've seen the same mental health conditions, but we've seen more, particularly
Right.
in clinic, with different issues. The anxieties are very different. The same, I guess, going back out there, they will be the same. But
Yeah.
in between, in the interim, we've seen a very different anxiety. And then we've also seen a lot of people within clinic who have never experienced, performance anxiety before. And they're now expressing this kind of anxiety. They don't want to go back out there because they're scared, because they haven't actually picked up their instrument. They may
For
not
so long.
heard
And
before.
and that's something that's crazy because I mean, I just filmed some live performances at SIR last week for some festivals this summer, and I have a pretty good rap on anxiety, but it was it. I understand the feeling of like, all right, here's the mic, get up there and go do it. And it's like, okay. But I mean, I just like let's do it, let's get it done.
Yeah.
But I know I totally agree with you. And I mean, even for me, I know that I was so depressed the first like 2 months of quarantine because we literally had one writing session and like tracked a few demos for this EP. And then the next day, everything shut down.
Mm,
So,
yeah.
but the beautiful thing is that after we understood about the virus a little bit more, my producer Solano, we felt comfortable enough to come, socially distance on my couch, and
Mm,
rewrote the whole thing. So
yeah.
that kind of created a sentimental piece for me.
Yeah.
So again, some good things came out of the darkness, if you will.
I was
But
going to ask you
I
actually,
think,
how did you get your creativity? How did you manage to motivate yourself during that time?
well, well, first of all, I really learned that it's okay to be alone because I used to always want to have to be around someone. Like, I want to have a friend or whatever. But it gave me a lot of time to think since I was by myself. And I just jotted down a lot of ideas. And this EP is not just about one person, it's about several different people in my life. And how it didn't, that relationship with that specific person at the time didn't work out for, there's a multitude of reasons. So I kind of wrote down the people I wanted to talk about for this project. And Solano came over with his acoustic guitar and we just came up with some melodies and I wrote the lyrics and that was that.
Wonderful. It's yeah.
Yeah.
So in terms of like creating, what we've talked about. Yeah, he came over and he helped you, but what keeps you motivated to keep doing that? What drives you?
I mean, it really, it's just music itself, being able to sing. That's, some people let out their emotions, they'll go scream into a pillow.
Mm,
Like I'll sing into a mic instead. Thank you. But no, I mean, I think the really cool thing about music is that it is so inclusive. And I think in a time right now with everything going on with and around the world, inclusivity is the highest importance right now.
mhm.
And for me, the coolest moment of a live show isn't so much just come pay money to watch me sing and you see I stand there and I'll just do my thing and then leave. It's being able to connect with the audience, with your fans.
Mhm.
And I mean, I think the most beautiful moment of a show is being able to sit on the end of that stage, stop all the production, and just be like, hey guys, how are we doing tonight?
And I think that is really you. That kind of sums you up so nicely. And, I feel every time you and I talk, over the last couple of months, we have become quite good friends. And every time,
Yeah,
if it's an email, if it's a phone call, if it's a video call, you know, you're genuine. You genuinely ask me how I am and you really want to know. And I feel like I'm
yeah.
able to say, actually, I'm having a really crap day today.
Today's not a good day. Yeah.
I'll call you and you'll say, and I'll say, how are you? You went, oh, I'm really tired.
I'm
And
exhausted.
we can be really honest with each other. And I think
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that we want to encourage, just people being able to say how they truly feel, because it's okay to be okay and it's okay not to be
Not
okay.
to be okay.
And, you know, we should be able to say, oh, I'm having a rubbish day today, or
Yeah.
I'm, you know, just not feeling it today. And nobody judge us for that.
Right.
You know, obviously doing what I do, you know, I might feel like I have to always be on top of my game, happy, happy. But when I talk to you, I feel like I'm completely honest. I can just say,
Yes.
I'm a
This is
really,
us. This is
really
it.
bad
This is what you
day.
get.
Yeah. So
So
that's been great, and hopefully what we're doing here together, you know, from, you know, an audience perspective and from, you know, an artist perspective, we'll be able to help people, and hopefully we'll be able to break some of those stigmas down. And I think,
yes.
you know, today is the very first Mental Health Action Day, which is powered by MTV Entertainment Group, and they've brought together over 13,000 organisations, government officials, different brands. And, you know, I'm really proud to be a part of that as part of
Yeah.
Creative Well and to support that. And it's a really exciting time, I think, and an amazing initiative because we have spoken about mental health awareness so much, haven't we? But now
Mhm.
the drive is to switch the awareness into an action. And so
Right.
it kind of feels that, you know, starting these video shows together today, which we haven't actually told anyone what they are yet. Um, and it just seems like a really good day to launch that. So for me, it's us taking an action, moving it just from awareness to actually doing something for people. So
Right.
together we have created the Creative Music Mind. Do you want to tell
Mhm.
the audience a little bit about the Creative Music Mind?
Yeah, so Nadine and I were just talking over the last several months, and we said, why don't we start a mini series just talking about things from every day, the trials and tribulations of the entertainment industry, to just overall well-being, mentally and physically. And we wanted to create a little show, and we thought, what better way to do it now than ever? It's Mental Health Awareness Month, but mental health is important 365 every day of the year, 24/7.
Absolutely. And
So with that being said, I mean, what let's just strip it down to its core. What does wellness mean to you?
you asking me? You asking the audience. So wellness for me means so many different things. It doesn't just mean one thing. And I think for me, it's about happiness. What makes me
Mhm.
happy? What
Yeah,
gives me joy? So in terms of wellness, I have to be physically well, emotionally well. Have I said physically? Yeah, physically well, mentally well, emotionally well,
hmm,
spiritually well. So all kind of dimensions in me need to be okay. They need to be balanced. So I can't have physical health if my mental health is not great. Um,
right.
because if my mental health's not great, you know, I'll be in a highly anxious state perhaps, and then that will have an offshot on other physical symptoms that I might be experiencing, like not being able to eat and having no appetite, um, having some nervous energy, not being able to sleep okay, or having intermittent sleep. So I think you can't have one without the other. You have to honor all sides of yourself. And I think for me, it's more than that. It's about being happy. And I think, I don't know, I'll ask you what wellness means to you in a moment, but it will be different for everybody. And so, what
Right.
gives me joy, what makes me happy, will be different from the next person. But that will have a real impact on how I think about myself, how I feel, how I carry my body. Um,
Mhm.
yeah. What about you?
You know, I'd have to agree. I think you have to be in line with all sides of yourself in order to truly be well.
Yeah.
For me, I just know that mentally, if I am not in a good mental space, nothing else works. And I mean, even I think not that it's not important, but like if I'm physically, if I, just sore from running, I can still totally function, like get whatever I need to get done, go put on a show, go record something. But if I'm not mentally all there or just not in a good place,
Mm,
it's so debilitating to me. So
mm,
that's why it's really important to get myself in check and meditate or set my intentions or whatever it might be. But there's definitely, and we can talk about this in the future episodes of methods that we use to align ourselves. But I just we'll talk about this more too in episodes down the road. But what have you found? I know you and I have talked about this, so the audience can hear. What have you found that have been some major issues with people actually on tour and everyone involved in a production on tour?
Oh, we're going back a little while now, aren't we? So I think, uh, yeah, the problem that I've seen is that people aren't on tour, really the last 18 months, and
Hmm.
their tours have been pulled. But before then, the problems are that it's an unconventional lifestyle. So people sleep at very odd times of the day. They don't necessarily eat the right things, so they're not feeding their mind, they're not feeding their bodies correctly. They may not necessarily be doing any exercise, but for some people that may not be a problem because being on stage, that's quite physical. Tour crews, that's quite physical as well, doing things on the stage, lugging things around. So, but I think one of the big things is, and like I was saying before the pandemic, there was a real mental health crisis,
Hmm.
and people just weren't talking to each other. So I personally knew people who had committed suicide um, within that industry. I know somebody who was a security guard, festival security guard, who was always really lovely, really happy, would always stop and speak to you. He would be the last person you would have thought would have been, that he would have hung himself. And it was so shocking to everybody.
Right.
At festivals, there's a whole crew around you. How did nobody notice? And I think
Realize that.
there's a lot of guilt that goes along with that as well. And I think one of
Right.
the big
And
things that people don't necessarily ask for help. And I remember reading some research where 50% of the people in in this piece of research um, were tour crew, and I think 30% of them were artists. And they had all attempted suicide, and none of them had actually sought help. Luckily, they were alive, um, but I think that's the problem. Was the major problem is that
right.
completely unconventional. People are missing home. Other people love it, and the problem is when they come off a big tour, settling back in at home. So you see both ends of the
That's
spectrum.
the opposite end of the spectrum. Yeah. So I think it's really important to, and again, we can talk about this in future episodes, but is what can we do now as we're getting ready to go back on tour now that things are starting to open back up? That's really important too, I
Yeah.
think.
So I think
And
that's something that I'm asked all the time. And I think we've actually got a really good window here to establish some really healthy habits. So even though I'm saying, it's an unconventional lifestyle, we have got this, rare time where we can be forming really good habits. So we need
right,
to maybe change our diet a little bit, maybe have a little bit more protein, less sugar. We can change that, you know.
right,
So we get into good habits when we're back out there. And, yes, we may not be able to go to sleep that early once everything's up and running, because obviously when people come off the stage, there's that really big high, and the high
adrenaline is
goes,
going.
it keeps
Yeah.
going for hours, doesn't it? So
Hmm.
it's about, trying to get the rest and the sleep, and, to do the exercise to kind of get your mind back in that frame. And I think,
Hmm.
I've just done another show with showmakers today, and we that's exactly what we were talking about. Kind of pacing yourself and challenging yourself to do something every day, something small.
Yeah, and I think the other important thing is too is just listen to yourself, listen to your body.
Yeah,
Like it will literally tell or show you like what it needs to be done. If you are too tired, then you're too tired. It's okay. I mean, you take the chance to rest. That's super, super important. And I think, what I think we should definitely bring on showmakers and some other people down the road to bring them on to our show.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think that there's so many things we can do now to kind of set the stage for the stage for people going back out there.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And get in contact with us. We're on all the socials. Give us a like, give us a share, share us with your communities, and
Yes.
contact us. Um, we don't can't provide absolutely everything to everybody, but we do have some really good networks that we can refer people onto if we can't support
Mhm.
you. But please don't be shy, reach out to us. And it is a sign of strength when people ask for help. And I know myself, I find it difficult asking for help. So I'm always telling people to ask for help. But I think we're all the same, aren't we? We all want
Uh-huh.
people to come to us, but it's very difficult for us when we need help. But actually, it's a
Definitely.
sign of strength to be able to ask for that help. And we don't
And it
always,
will help, but and it will also too. I mean, you like we talked about, the creative wall is always looking to collaborate with other organizations, with groups, with other artists,
yeah,
events, anything. So don't be
absolutely.
afraid to reach out to the creative
Yeah,
well.
because I think the more of us that collaborate with each other, we can help more people. And one of the things that I'm trying to do at the moment is to collate a directory of different therapists, so massage therapists, reflexologists, talking therapists, AA groups, the whole repertoire that we can
Mhm.
tap into from state to state, from country to country.
Right,
And that's going to take a lot of a lot, but we're trying to build that directory so we all
right,
work together, and if we all work together we can help more people. If I just work in isolation, then I'm going to help a couple of handfuls of people, but we're trying to
right.
make sure that everybody gets that support.
It also creates, the more people you have working in collaboration, it creates that ripple effect,
Yeah,
which is so awesome.
it does.
Um, because then you can have people on tour all over the world, and you can still, oh, I know someone, I got you, I can send someone for you, I have, get in contact with someone so they can help you with that for sure.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we've learnt this year as well, one of the positive things is because before I was going backwards and forwards to the States, and
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do that since, March last year. So I have been working through Zoom, and it's worked incredibly well. So it's nice to have this, technology so we can connect wherever we
Mhm.
are in the world. So it's always nice to see people in person, but I think it's not always possible. So we can reach out to each other
Yeah,
via Zoom.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, Nadine, thank you so much. So we're gonna plan the next episodes. I can always to share them with you guys while they're watching. We'll have some fun people to interview as well next time, so please stay tuned. But
yeah.
for now, we will sign off and we will talk to you guys soon.
Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Yes, Nadine, thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye.